Evening YouTube. I would suggest watching Black Doves on Netflix, watching it at the moment, and that was after going through about 30 different things on Netflix and getting about 3 to 5 minutes into most of them and zoning out. Absolutely no time for it. It needs to be quick, quick, quick. And this one I was about to zone out of, Black Doves, when Sarah Lancashire, I think her name is, um, came on screen and the narrative changed and it kind of has this twist at the beginning and it was like, whoa, okay, wasn't expecting that. And the acting's really, really good. All of the actors are really good. Keira Knightley's really good in it. Sometimes I find her acting to be good but exactly the same in every single role. This one, she's older and yeah, I've got time for her in this. I think she's doing a really good job. So yeah, Black Doves Netflix all day long. So what I wanted to talk about really quickly as we approach Christmas is when I was a millionaire. So when I was 17 years old, I had £4.4 million in my bank account. 4.4 million in my bank. I currently have one penny. So I've got zero, absolutely zero in my current account, and I've got 1 pence in my savings account. So at the age of 17, I was working in a restaurant in Coventry called the Mr. Big Restaurant, and I was paid £1 an hour. I was 17 and I'm 52 now, so way back in the day, £1 an hour when you were a teenager was, that's kind of, sometimes that's what you got. Sometimes if you were lucky, you got £1.20 or £1.50 for different jobs, but in this particular restaurant, it was £1 an hour. So I remember doing an 8-hour shift on a Saturday, getting £8. It was always cash in hand in a brown envelope, and spent like £4 a bit on, probably on Constant Carol, ridiculous candy floss lipstick as you did back in the 80s. And the other £4 I put in my bank account. So at the time, I was with Abbey National, which is now Santander, but it used to be called Abbey National. And I remember going into the bank this particular day, and I remember it's clear as day because of what happened after. So I remember putting the £4 coins. No, but it might not even have been pound coins actually. Could even have been pound notes because I was 17. But anyway, I put £4 in my account. And when I left with my book, the red Building Society Abbey National book, it said 4.4000000, and I was just thinking, remember I'm really young and I'm like, why is that? Why is there all the zeros? I only put £4 in, but it's just, I don't know, maybe just an error. I don't know what that means, but as long as my £4 gone in, and being more concerned as I walked out the door about, that's a lot of money to me, that £4. So hopefully that's gone in. That was fine. Anyways, I cannot recall if it was the next morning or the next afternoon that the phone rang at my parents' house where I lived. So at my house, but I lived with my parents. And the phone rang, and it was there was no mobile phones. It was the old, dial up, that one. So ring, 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 ring. And my mum got me and said, this, the bank's on the phone. And I remember this woman on the phone, and she was absolutely panicked and was talking something about how they had stopped my bank account. I suppose these days you'd call it frozen, froze my bank account. And I was just panicked, thinking they've taken my £4. I need that £4 because I need to get some more, candy floss, lip gloss, or whatever you buy when you're 17 back in the 80s. And basically, what she basically said was, it first of all kind of accusatory, something about I hadn't phoned them. I hadn't phoned them to say that they'd put £4.4 million into my bank account. And I didn't, because I didn't even know. I mean, to be honest with you, my maths at school was shite. So I wouldn't have even known what all those zeros meant. It was just, you better not have taken my £4. That was my concern. Their concern was that the cashier had genuinely put £4.4 million into my bank account. So after them being cross with me initially on the phone and clearly realizing they're talking to a child, because I was 17, and then I think they kind of heard the concern in my voice that I want my £4. I don't care about the zeros on the end of it. But she did say, and unfortunately, the cashier at the bank had transferred £4.4 million into my bank account. And I guess I don't even think it was until I started telling people in the weeks that followed that happened, that everyone was like, you know that's really serious, don't you? They'd done that you could have spent it. And I was like, well, no, because you would have to know that. And I didn't know that they genuinely put it in. I thought it was just some sort of printing error. And of course, going back to the conversation that had transpired that day, I realised that actually when they phoned, the panic in the head office or beyond head office, in the woman's voice, was that this was really serious. And had I spent it? And I was like, of course I haven't spent it. Well, I mean, luckily, I hadn't gone to the Coventry Market and bought, another lip gloss, but it would only have been £1. So yes, but even at the age of 52, I can actually say, I used to be a millionaire. And I can actually say it because it is genuinely true, even though, albeit it wasn't even 24 hours, it was for about 20 hours. So for 20 hours at the age of 17, I had £4.4 million in my bank account. Why am I even uploading this? No one knows.